So we're just landing. So if you've had a fairly busy day like me, you might just want to bring your mind, reel your mind back in. Check your feet. If they're down on the floor, if you're sitting at a desk, you might want to have them resting on a cushion, just raised, so your thighs and your upper leg and your lower leg are at a 90-degree angle. Hands can be in the meditation posture, but if you are used to any other form of meditation for these purposes, it's fine to have your hands resting down. That's a more grounding on your thighs. That's a more grounding position, or with your palms facing upwards. Sometimes people rest in a mudra with the thumb and the forefinger touching. But in this particular tradition, they tend to sit this way, with the hands, right hand resting in the left. So just imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light stretching from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head. Imagine the crown of your head is reaching for the ceiling. Someone maybe is lengthening your spine very gently. Your head is slightly tipped forward and the eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose with the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. So you want to, with the head tipped slightly forward, it's not too far forward. You don't want to be having your chin resting on your chest, because then the mind becomes dull. And your head is just slightly tipped to create some length in the back of the neck. This helps to prevent any agitation in the mind. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And you can just imagine someone is just very gently lengthening your neck by pulling very gently on your ears from the tips of the ears, the top of the ear, and then gently lengthening up and very gently gliding your head back so it's in line with your shoulders. And here we have a nice balanced meditation posture that is most conducive for all the energy to be flowing. I mean, we all have blockages, they say. At each of the different chakras, there are blockages due to karma, illness, and mind stuff. But the best that we can do right now is to at least give our body a chance for the energy to flow freely. So this is the way they suggest to sit. So just bring the mind to the breath, noticing the sensation of the air flowing in through the nostrils, slightly warmer as you're exhaling. And bring the mind to the top of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, back of the eye, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth. And then bring your awareness to the back of the head, the occipital bone, that area there. Relax that whole area. And just allow and notice how your jaw relaxes, the inner ear relaxes, the back of the tongue relaxes. Relax the back of the neck. the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Just allow the shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, chest, the belly, the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet, and your toes. You bring the mind to the breath again. And just notice if there are any sounds in your environment. And if there are, notice what attracts your mind. What draws your mind to that particular sound? And if you are wanting to reject that sound, or you're attracted to that sound, try to avoid going there. Just allow the sound to disappear into the background like white noise, and refocus your attention on your breath. So let's just bring to mind all the people of our life. There's that group of people that we love, our friends who are so dear to us. Then there's those ones in our life who we reject, we push away. And then there's the strangers, the people we have very little interest in, who, if we heard that they dropped dead yesterday, we'd go, oh, so sorry. And that would be about the depth of our concern, as opposed to a loved one passing. Then we're devastated for years. So just think these three people, these three sets of people in our life, they could change place at any time. The friend, the enemy, and the stranger. They all deserve our equal concern, because everybody wants to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. And everyone has this unbelievable capacity for the enlightened mind. So I just think we're doing this practice tonight for all these people in our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So just to remind everyone, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And the purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind. So we are going to change that around and create positive energy with our mind instead. We want to ameliorate some of the negative thoughts, some of our delusions. So the first thing we do here in this practice is the regret. It's the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is the reason we generate this regret in our heart is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past actions. Even that we can receive a grain of rice is due to our past generosity. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we probably don't want to encounter any more suffering than we already do. So logically, it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us in the future. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I am sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think, I'm sick of this suffering. So what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we turn to Vajrasattva, the Buddha, who we can see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us. We purify ourselves by relying upon his methods. So just imagine, here we have Guru Vajrasattva. He's in a very beautiful tanka there in front of us. Now imagine this image above the crown of your head. It's not a two-dimensional image, it's three-dimensional and then made of light, like a hologram. So you can imagine this beautiful, blissful hologram, but it's just packed full of energy, compassion and wisdom and kindness above the crown of your head. And this is the mind of your teacher, your Lama, your Guru, however you wish to call them and see them, manifesting in this form for your benefit. This male Vajrasattva, youthful male Vajrasattva form. So he's sitting cross-legged on a white lotus. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. And just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, but untainted by them. So this is the analogy they use. And he has this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. He has a sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot. He's wearing the 5-pointed crown on his head, embedded with jewels, and he's wearing jewelry all over his body, around his neck and arms and waist and feet. And he's wearing the celestial robe. They're not robes really, but there's kind of scarves and silks in the Royal Indian style. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents a union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so those beings who have harmed us and those beings we have harmed. So bring to mind somebody you've harmed and just try and develop a sense of compassion for them. And then the same for the people who have harmed you. And this is a little bit more difficult, but just bring them to mind and imagine that they are free from suffering, that you don't wish them to suffer. You do not wish them harm. And you feel this kind of open, compassionate heart for them, because the harm they've caused you will cause them harm in the future. It'll ripen for them that way. So the next is the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice. So we're doing the mantra recitation and the visualization. This is our medicine. So first we're purifying the body. And Guru Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar. It's almost like coming out of a hose or a fountain or from a waterfall, very forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around, enters your crown, and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps coming until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And it disappears into space as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Om Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Duda Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe om vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything now but benefit others with the body. So just imagine anybody sees you, smells you, benefits their mind. It brightens their mind. So just imagine how incredibly beneficial it would be, how wonderful it would be if you'd have this effect on people. So amazing. It's so simple, you just have to wish for it. So the next is a purification of speech. And again, Guru Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around, forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body. Except this time, forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the harsh speech and the lying, talking about other people behind their back, and all the kind of useless, gossipy kind of speech that very often no one really wants to listen to, but we just kind of rabbit on about nothing, sort of wasting our energy and everybody else's. So all these kind of speech things. You know, the interesting thing about Buddhism is, and Buddha, it's the main gift to the world is speech, the teachings. So you can see, we just take it for granted. So you can see, we never know really how our words are landing. So we need to be more careful with the way we use language and the way we use our speech. Make it a gift for others. So imagine that all of this kind of negative parts of our speech are completely purified as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the minute they hear your voice, it benefits their mind and makes them feel happy. That's amazing. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Guru Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of laser light, of light beams from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So just as, as they say, the minute you walk into a room, a dark room, and you switch on a light, that light instantly dispels the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind instantly disappears, is dispelled. So all the depression and anger and anxiety and attachment and grasping and neediness and disappointments and jealousies and grudges, all of this instantly dispelled. Not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame siddham shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause for why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified. And think now, there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So the next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So this time you can imagine, we could do a couple of mantras if you wish, each of the, for the visualizations of the body and of the speech and of the mind. Or you can just imagine light and nectar, and then you imagine that it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mipi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mipi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dida meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mipi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Duda meboa sutokaya meboa supokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya satra ahum pe. So now feel you are completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So now is the power of resolve. So again, rejoice in your efforts. Check your progress, no matter how tiny the step, or whether you've gone backwards and gone forwards and gone backwards and gone forwards. Just rejoice the fact that you're even doing it, you're drawing attention to it, you're aware of it. And then think, make a decision. I'm going to keep working on this. I'm going to refrain from things that harm. Habits I do with my body, my speech, and my mind that are harmful to myself and to others. And just think of something. Give yourself a timeline, a doable timeline, if it's even only 5 seconds. We don't lie to ourselves. Oh, I'm going to never do this again, ever. And next week we do. So it's not like a New Year's Eve promise. Just something simple, humble, doable. Okay. So Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think my guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So place your mind at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And in this way, look at all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the positive energy you have created doing this purification this evening, all of us together, to all the living beings, thinking may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do a little prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. To the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Tub Shul Chang Shin Jam Gon Gyalaway, Tenzin Kyong Pelway Kunzo Dog Porze, Chog Sum Cure Way Leg Mon to Drub. Padag sog doje gondu shabten shog. For Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds out of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Well, I'm 4 minutes over. I'm very sorry, everyone. Too much chatting in the beginning. Thank you very much, everybody. So lovely to see you all. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.